Well, Ed always helps us get ready for the day by giving us the forecast. But for many people, understanding the day's weather is really easy. Others, not so much.
Right. So our forecasters take the complicated science and make it easy. But for others, language barriers could mean deadly consequences.
9 News meteorologist Chris Bianchi introduces us to a volunteer making sure everyone has access to life-saving information.
When thunder roars, go indoors. Turn around, don't drown. Ice and snow means take it slow. Think about all the great weather terminology that's out there to alert you about bad weather and how to stay safe in it. The problem is that this type of easy to understand and life-saving weather terminology is mostly not available in Spanish. The challenges of Spanish weather communication go beyond those slogans, though. The Spanish words for warning, advisory, and watch are often mixed up, and basic Spanish weather terminology can often vary by country or even region. For example, the Spanish word for thunderstorm varies with tormenta, tormenta eléctrica, and tronada, all used as words to describe the exact same thing. And that's just one example of many in Spanish. But help is on the way. Bruno Rodriguez is the first known Spanish-speaking meteorologist at the National Weather Service's Boulder office, and he's spearheading the office's efforts to better reach Spanish speakers.
And I've tried to do my best to develop as many graphics as possible in Spanish to be able to push those out locally as well.
Rodriguez is part of a volunteer group of National Weather Service meteorologists working to better improve weather communication for Spanish-speaking communities, and it's producing some tangible results.
One of the big things that we've accomplished really was Spanish language WIA alerts. And when I say WIA, that's wireless emergency alerts. So those alerts you get to your phone when there's severe weather in your location. As of about 2 years ago, those are now sent out in Spanish as long as you have your phone settings in Spanish. So that's a big deal when it comes to making sure that we're communicating to those vulnerable populations.
And on top of the new bilingual wireless emergency alerts, any severe weather alert from the National Weather Service office in Boulder also automatically goes out in Spanish as well. It's a start, but there's still a ways to go to reach the approximately 1 million Spanish-speaking Coloradans and 50 million Americans with better weather information.
And a lot of the more technical terms in English, the meteorological terms, don't really have a direct translation to Spanish. So that's one of the biggest challenges that we face as an agency, is how do we translate or develop some translations that are adequate, and not only that, but are understood by a wide range of the Spanish-speaking community.
And what some of you might not know is I also do Spanish language forecasts every day, and it's a topic that I'm particularly passionate about. And if you, a friend or family, need better access to forecast information, you can join me every day on the 9 News Plus app and on 9news.com. Gary and Corey, we do have these forecasts available, again, in Spanish as well as in English, of course.
You were talking about how the translation, it's not there for weather forecasting right now, right?
Yes, literally this morning, get this is a 100% true story. I was chatting outside with Laura Casillas, our bilingual producer as well here at 9 News, about how to say frost, right? We have a chance for frost on Thursday morning. There are 2 different terms for it. There's escarcha, which is the kind of main term, and then there's also heladas, which is a bit more of a kind of a broad term. So we were debating, I've been texting other meteorologists this morning, and nobody can agree on this. And this is something that I don't think is well known, is that they're regional, country, as well as simply terminologies out there that are just not known about how to say certain things in Spanish. And finally now it's starting to get the attention I think it deserves.
Wow.
And you were saying that it's a problem for the National Weather Service because there aren't a lot of bilingual forecasters out there.
No, so the actual process they have, if something needs to get translated, there's that volunteer group, including Bruno, who we just spoke to a second ago. And the way that the terminology gets out there is it kind of goes out to 12 or 13 bilingual meteorologists on a volunteer basis, and somebody hopefully picks it up. But again, there are improvements right now ongoing to hopefully improve this process. It's a little Wild West right now.
Yeah, there's got to be a way that they're going to come up with a list that works, because when you need to send out a weather alert, a weather emergency, something like that, a storm's approaching, y'all have to be on the same page, right?
We do, and again, reaching some of those communities has been challenging in the past, and hopefully here with some of these volunteers and hopefully some of the kind of spotlight on this, it'll get better in due time.
Okay, really interesting stuff.